Hello, boys and girls. Blackburn, Shermer. This is Josh Ripley, presenting from my bedroom in the Ripley household. As you can see, I'm wearing my finest pajamas for this presentation. Thank you, Blackburn, for dropping that nice morning practice bombshell on me today. That was a very pleasant surprise. Today we're here to talk about pop culture, though, and more specifically, the question of, does society drive pop culture, or does pop culture drive society? In my personal opinion, I think a bit of both occurs. I think that society drives pop culture at some points, and pop culture drives society at other points. But for the purpose of this presentation and of having an argument, I'm going to say that pop culture drives society more. And in particular, I'm going to argue the brands, the big name brands, that we see a lot is what drives pop culture. My first example in this presentation is this right here. This is my iPhone 5S, and I'm sure it looks familiar to almost all of you. If you go around Rockbridge and you're in the hallways, you're in a classroom, and you see people on their phone, this is what you're going to see most often. The iPhone is kind of the it phone right now. Apple is the most valuable brand in the world. If you have an iPhone, you have the phone that people want to have. This is a symbol that just goes beyond a phone. This is a symbol that you are an important person because you have an iPhone. You can afford it, and you really have the top of the line, basically, is how this is seen. Apple does a great job marketing this as the best product out there, and people eat it up. It's an example of a brand that sells itself perfectly, and people buy into it. That's why you see iPhones everywhere in schools and the workplace, and the reason you don't see Samsungs as much, even though they're maybe arguably as good or better of a phone than an iPhone. Another example I would use is Nike. This is Lil Rip's Pegasus that he wore this past cross-country season. Being a runner, you go to a lot of meets around the state and the region, and one of the things you indulge in most as a runner is your shoes. You spend a lot of money on your trainers. You want to make sure that they're good and solid. But also fashion is definitely factored into it a lot, as Beaver could attest to, and any other runners in the class. This is what you see most often at meets, is the Nike Pegasus, and Nike shoes in general. Are Nikes the most functionally sound shoe? It's debatable. I mean, they have always worked well for me, but often you see shoes like Asics and Saucony's rated higher, but you always see more of these, and the question is, why? I think it's because of the Nike brand. I mean, does it look cooler to wear Asics around? Very generic looking, boring. Or do you want to wear your neon green Volt Nikes around? It's a better look, and it's, again, the Nike marketing machine. Nike is far and away the most powerful brand in sports merchandise. And you see that very often at cross-country meets. It's very strong. And all over the sporting world, you see at basketball, you see Nikes everywhere on people's feet. You see Jordans. If you see uniforms in sports and stuff, our track uniforms are made by Nike. Cross-country uniforms, Nike. It's just the power of Nike, and the more that brand is exposed, the more people want to buy it. And when you see these brands pushing their image out there and you see more people using it, it's a big example of brands driving pop culture.